You are watching Noctombre. We visit events that should have made sense, but didn't. Cases with documentation, witnesses, timelines. Yet something in them refuses to line up. Not because facts are missing, because the facts don't cooperate. And so, here today, we look at one of those cases. Brazil, 1966. Two electronics technicians traveled to a hill on the outskirts of Rio de Janeiro with purpose, preparation, and a schedule they wrote for themselves. Hours later, they're found dead in conditions that suggest planning, but reveal no cause. It's a case where every known detail feels precise and every conclusion collapses. This is the Lead Masks case. On the slopes of Vintem Hill, on the outskirts of Rio de Janeiro, an 18-year-old boy went out to fly a kite. He didn't come home with a kite. He came home with a mystery. Two men lay side by side in the tall grass, dressed in formal suits, waterproof coats, and over their eyes, strange, hand-cut masks made of solid sheet lead. No wounds, no struggle. Beside them, a notebook with a single instruction, written in desperate, precise handwriting. 16:30. Be at the specified place. 18:30. Ingest capsules. After effect. Protect metals. Await signal. Mask. What signal? What effect? What killed them? And why lead masks? Manuel Pereira de Cruz, age 32. And Miguel Jose Viana, age 34. They were two electronics technicians from Campos de Goytacazes, respected in their community, intelligent, skilled, methodical. On August 17th, 1966, they left home telling their family they were traveling to Niterói to purchase electronic components for work. They carried a small amount of cash, a few tools, and although no one knew it at the time, two handmade lead masks. Their families did not consider their trip unusual. Television repair was unpredictable, and the men often traveled for parts. But several witnesses later described their behavior in the final hours as anxious, hurried, almost rehearsed. The last confirmed sighting came from a waitress in a small local bar. She remembered the men because one of them, Miguel, kept checking his watch constantly, as though afraid of missing something. From that moment, the trail goes silent. 3 days later, an 18-year-old hiker, out flying a kite, noticed something in the brush. An animal, he thought. Maybe a scarecrow. But it was neither. Authorities arrived the following day. The terrain was difficult, thick vegetation, steep slopes, and heat that quickens decay. When they reached the bodies, they found an eerie tableau. The men lay side by side, hands neatly placed. No signs of violence, no signs of animals disturbing them. Their belongings arranged nearby. Each man wore a tailored suit, a waterproof coat, and a homemade lead mask covering their eyes, brutally cut, smoothed only enough to avoid scraping their skin. Beside them, an empty water bottle, 2 wet towels, and a small notebook. Inside the notebook, a cryptic message. 1630, be at the specified location. 1830, ingest capsules. After effect, protect metals. Await signal mask. And so, the mystery begins. The investigation was hamstrung from the start. Due to delays caused by terrain and weather, the autopsy was performed late, and decomposition had advanced too far to test for chemical toxins. Authorities found at the scene no cause of death, no signs of struggle or trauma, no defensive wounds, no robbery as money was present, no weapons, no drugs, no capsules. Witnesses later claimed the men had an interest in spiritualism and quote-unquote scientific seances. Friends reported they once attempted experiments involving bright lights and, again, quote-unquote spiritual contact. Some said they believed intense energy could be lethal if not shielded, and the purpose of the lead masks was to protect them. But these recollections are coloured by time and by the strangeness of the case. Isabel, one of Miguel's sisters, had this to say about the case. Miguel often told me about a very important experiment he was going to make. In the last few days, as he seemed quiet, with a worried expression on his face, I soon realized that the moment had come. Then he went on that sudden trip, in the company of Manuel. Why? I still don't know exactly what happened, but I know it all has to do with the seemingly meaningless things he used to tell me. What remains factual is this. The men walked willingly onto that hill. They expected something to happen, something requiring precise timing. They prepared their eyes for a blinding flash, and they waited. By this point in the investigation, the facts had reached their limit. The scene was documented, the belongings recorded, and the autopsy completed as far as decomposition allowed. But none of it produced a cause of death, and none of it explained why 2 trained technicians carried out a sequence of actions that led them to a remote hillside with masks, raincoats, and a handwritten schedule. No toxins identified, no signs of struggle, and no equipment recovered. The case shifted from documentation to interpretation. Investigators, journalists, and later researchers began assembling the few pieces that remained. Not to solve the mystery outright, but to map the possible frameworks that might contain it. Theories that emerged cover a wide spectrum. Here, we will cover a few. Theory A: drug overdose or poison overdose. The simplest explanation: the men ingested something toxic, believing it would facilitate a spiritual or technological experience. Their note literally instructs, ingest capsules. But without toxicology, nothing can be proven. and their calm posture and lack of vomiting or distress suggests an unusually peaceful death for poison. Theory B. Occult ritual or UFO contact experiment. Some witnesses in the neighborhood reported seeing orange lights in the sky that night. Others recall the men discussing contact and powerful energies. The masks could be interpreted as a protection from radiation or light, as if they expected a blinding manifestation. There is no physical evidence, only belief. Theory C. Criminal involvement or foul play. Perhaps the men met someone on the hill. Perhaps it was someone who supplied the capsules or forced them to take something. A third-party presence is supported by one detail: the money hidden inside Miguel's raincoat, untouched. But why stage such an elaborate scene? Why preserve their valuables? Why leave the masks? Why leave the note? Theory D. Experimental accident, radio or chemical exposure. As technicians, they may have attempted to test the device, something that emitted radiation or strong electrical discharge. The masks would protect the eyes from certain wavelengths. Wet towels could cool equipment. But no device was found. No wires, no materials, no burn marks. To recap, we still don't know what the capsules were, why they wore lead masks, why they were lying so peacefully, why the timing in the note mattered, whether the men expected contact or maybe transformation, why they chose a remote hill far from home, or what the signal they believed would arrive at 1830. We don't know what protect metals was supposed to mean. All we did know is that whatever trace they waited for never came. Or, if it did, it left no trace. Two men climbed a hill with faith in something unseen. They prepared themselves with suits, with masks, with ritual precision. They wrote instructions, followed them, and died silently in the grass. Whether they sought enlightenment, contact, or escape, the hill will always keep that secret. That concludes this entry. That every shadow leads to another trace, and every trace to another unanswered question. If you want the next case as soon as it resurfaces, please stay with us. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and step back into the dark with Noctombre.